I don't even know how to start this without my hands shaking a little. Because what I'm about to tell you, it's not something I ever imagined I'd say out loud. But you deserve to know. You've always deserved to know. And no matter how unbelievable it sounds, every word I'm about to tell you is real. There was a meeting, a quiet one, away from cameras, away from noise, and the truth that came out there. It changes everything about who you are and who you've always been. You see, they weren't talking about just anyone. They were talking about you. And the moment your name came up, the whole room went silent. It was like every heartbeat froze in that second. Someone leaned in, whispered something, and then I heard it. The thing that still has my mind spinning. They said, "She's the true descendant." At first I thought they were joking, but they weren't. The way they looked at each other, the way they spoke about you, it was serious, almost sacred. And that's when it hit me. All those strange moments that never made sense before. All the ways you've always felt different from everyone else. The quiet power in your presence, the warmth that draws people in without effort, the strength that shines through even when you don't say a word. You always wondered why people react to you in ways they can't explain. It's because deep down you carry something ancient, something real, something that's been passed through generations. But what moved me the most wasn't the mystery of your bloodline or the name they mentioned after yours. It was the way they spoke about your heart. They said you have something that no one before you ever fully understood. Compassion so deep that it heals what it touches. You might not even realize it, but the way you care for others, the way you love without asking for anything back, that's your real power. That's what connects you to where you truly come from. And I have to admit something, I've always felt it too. From the moment I first spoke to you, there was this strange sense that you weren't just another person passing through my life. You were someone written into it. There was a pull I couldn't explain. Not attraction, not curiosity, something deeper, older, like a soul, recognizing another across time. Maybe that's why I can't stay away from these conversations. Maybe that's why I keep finding myself drawn back to you, no matter how far I try to step away. You felt it too, haven't you? That sense that you've lived 1,000 emotions before, that you've seen certain dreams before they happened. That strange familiarity, when you look at certain places or faces, it's not coincidence, it's memory. The kind that doesn't come from this life alone. You carry pieces of stories that existed long before we were born, and somehow I think our paths crossing again is part of it. Maybe that's what destiny really means. Not a plan, but a remembering. There's something I want to tell you about that meeting. When they spoke about your name, they mentioned something else too, a connection. They said, "The one who finds her will understand his purpose." And for some reason, I felt like those words were meant for me, because ever since I found you, I've started to understand things about myself that I never could before. I've started to see life in color again. I've started to believe that love isn't something we find, it's something we remember. I wish you could have seen the way they looked when they spoke about you. With a mix of awe and fear, as if you're both a mystery and a miracle. And maybe that's exactly what you are. You've always felt like light wrapped in softness, the kind that calms people just by being near. You don't try to shine, yet you do. You don't seek attention, yet eyes always find you. And now I finally understand why. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to remind the world of something it forgot. What real grace feels like. I've seen you doubt yourself. I've seen the way you question your worth sometimes, thinking maybe you're not doing enough, not being enough. But you are so much more than you realize. You're carrying the strength of generations, the legacy of something pure that was almost lost. And maybe that's why life has tested you so hard. because souls like yours are rare. And the world often tries to dim what it can't understand. There's something else they said in that meeting, and it's been haunting me ever since. They said you were chosen, but not in a dramatic fantasy kind of way. Chosen because of your heart. Because even when you're broken, you still love. Even when you've been hurt, you still forgive. Even when the world gets heavy, you still find beauty in small things. That's not weakness, that's power. The kind of power no title, no bloodline, no fame could ever compare to. And I need you to hear this, because it's been sitting in my chest for too long. I'm proud of you. Truly, not for what people see, but for what they don't. For the nights you held yourself together when you wanted to fall apart. For the times you loved without getting love back. For the quiet way you've carried your pain and still smiled at the world. That's strength. That's what makes you who you are. I think that's why fate keeps circling us back to each other. Because maybe I was meant to tell you this truth, to remind you of who you are, of what you've always been. You're not just another story, you're the beginning of one. The descendant of something timeless, yes, but more importantly, the living proof that love never dies. It just finds new forms. And as I say all this, I can feel your heartbeat syncing with mine, even from a distance. That's how I know you're listening. Not just hearing, but feeling. I can almost see you now, maybe with your eyes slightly lowered, thinking about everything I just said. Maybe part of you is still wondering if it's real. But deep down you know, you've always known. There's more I want to tell you. Things that were said in that meeting, things that tie even me to your story, but maybe not tonight. Some truths need time to unfold. Just promise me one thing, don't doubt who you are anymore. Don't shrink yourself to fit where you've outgrown. You're not ordinary, and you never were. And if you ever start to forget again, just remember this moment. My voice, my words, my heart, all of it reaching out to remind you, you are seen, you are chosen, you are loved. So if one day the world starts whispering your name, saying you're the true descendant of something greater, believe it, not because someone said it, but because you felt it your whole life. You were never just meant to live, you were meant to remind the world who it's forgotten to be. And if I'm honest, I think that's why I found you. Because part of my heart already knew. You were never just someone, you were the one. I haven't stopped thinking about that night since it happened. That meeting, the one where they said your name like it carried centuries inside it. It changed something in me. You know that feeling when the truth hits you so deep. It shakes the parts of you that you didn't even know existed. That's what it felt like. And now, every time I close my eyes, I see your face. In that moment when you'll finally hear everything that was revealed. I imagine how your eyes will widen, how your breath will catch, how you'll whisper my name like you're not sure if you're dreaming or not. I wish you could have been there with me that night. You would have seen the way they looked at your picture. Yes, your picture. I didn't even know they had it. It was projected on a dimly lit wall surrounded by documents, old photographs, and names written in ink that looked like it had aged for 100 years. And there you were. Your smile, your eyes, the light you carry even in a still frame. The room went quiet. No one dared to speak for a moment. Then someone said softly, "She doesn't know who she is yet, does she?" And I felt my chest tighten, because I realized, you really don't. You think you're just living an ordinary life, waking up each day wondering where it's all going, carrying your silent dreams and soft hopes in your heart. You think you're just trying to survive this world, but you have no idea what's hidden in your story, how far your roots go. They said your ancestors were people who changed destinies. Not with power or war, but with love, faith, and compassion. The kind of people who could shift hearts just by being themselves. That's you. That's what you've been carrying all along without even knowing it. When I first heard them say you were the true descendant, I didn't fully understand what that meant. But now, I do. It's not about royalty or titles. It's about something much deeper. A spirit that refuses to fade. A soul that reincarnates to heal what's been broken in the world. You're part of that line. You're part of something that was never meant to disappear. And I can't stop thinking about what they said next. Something that made my heart skip. They said, she's meant to reunite with the one who remembers. At that moment, I couldn't breathe, because I knew what they meant. I knew they were talking about me. You see, I've been remembering things too. Moments that never happened in this lifetime, but feel so real. The sound of your laughter in a place I've never been. The warmth of your hand fitting perfectly into mine, even before we ever met. The way your voice echoes in my mind when I'm alone. It's like my soul recognized you before my eyes ever did. You know what's crazy? There are nights when I wake up suddenly, like I've heard you call my name. It's always faint, almost like a whisper, carried by the wind. Sometimes it's filled with longing, sometimes with comfort, but it's always you. I don't know if you felt it too, that unexplainable connection, like someone out there is thinking of you at the exact same time. That's not coincidence, that's memory finding its way back. I need you to know something that I didn't say before. When I left that meeting, I didn't just walk out. I couldn't. I stayed there long after everyone else had gone. I just sat in that empty room, staring at your picture, thinking about everything they said. And the more I thought, the more I realized that this isn't just your story. Somehow, it's ours. Maybe that's why my heart felt so heavy that night, because I understood that my purpose was tied to yours long before either of us even existed here. You've probably noticed that I've been different lately. The way I speak to you, the way I look at you, the way I pause between words like I'm holding something back. It's because I am. I've been holding back the truth, not because I wanted to hide it, but because I didn't want to overwhelm you. I know how you are. Gentle, curious, strong, yet so careful with emotions. You feel everything so deeply, even the things left unsaid, and I didn't want to drop this weight on your heart until I was sure you were ready. But maybe you've already started feeling it too. The strange coincidences. The way time slows when we talk, the way you sometimes dream of things that later happen, the way you feel drawn to certain places, certain symbols, certain moments you can't explain. That's not your imagination, that's your spirit, trying to remember where it came from. You've always wondered why some people are drawn to you instantly, even strangers. It's not luck, it's not charm. It's recognition. Souls that have met you before, in lives that came and went long before this one, recognize you. They feel safe around you, because your energy reminds them of something pure, something they lost and have been searching for ever since. You're that reminder. You're what love used to feel like before the world complicated it. Do you remember when I told you that I've always felt like you weren't just part of my present, but also part of my past and future? Now I understand why, because you were meant to be found again. And maybe that's why, no matter how much time passes, no matter what tries to come between us, I always end up here, talking to you, confessing to you, missing you in ways that make no sense. There's something about your presence that feels like home. Not a place, but a peace. When I hear your voice, even in messages or memories, I feel that calm that nothing else in this world gives me. Maybe that's what destiny feels like. Not a dramatic moment, but the quiet recognition of finally being where your soul belongs. I keep thinking about what the old man in that meeting said before I left. He looked at me with eyes that seemed to see right through me and said, "When she remembers who she is, nothing will ever be the same again. Not for her, not for you." And I've been wondering what that really means. Maybe it means that once you awaken to your truth, we both will. Maybe it means that our connection isn't just emotional, it's spiritual. Something beyond this life. Something written long before we were born. There's one more thing I've never told you. After that meeting, I was handed something, an old envelope, sealed with red wax, and on it was a single symbol, one I had never seen before. When I opened it later, there was only one sentence written inside. "The heart that carries the truth will always find its reflection." That's when I realized, you're my reflection. Everything I've been searching for, everything I've lost, everything I didn't even know I needed, it all points back to you. You make me remember what love feels like when it's pure, when it's not about fear or pride, but about recognition. Sometimes when I'm thinking about you, I wonder if you're doing the same at that exact moment. If you're staring out your window, lost in thought, feeling that familiar ache in your chest that tells you someone out there is missing you too. Maybe you are. Maybe that's why I feel you even when you're silent. Because our connection doesn't need words. It just is. I don't know what comes next. I don't know how much more of this truth you'll uncover, or what the world will think when they finally see who you really are. But I do know this, no matter what happens, I'll be there, because I didn't just find you, I remembered you. And deep down, I think you're starting to remember me too. So if you're listening to this, wherever you are, close your eyes for a moment. Feel the stillness around you, that warmth you feel right now, that soft thump of your heart. That's me. That's us. That's everything we've been before, and everything we're about to become again. And when you wake up tomorrow, and the world feels different, when small things start to make sense in ways they never did before, don't be afraid. It's just your truth unfolding. It's just your story remembering itself. Because my love, you are not ordinary. You are the descendant of something eternal. And I'm not just someone who found you. I'm someone who was meant to. You know, ever since that moment, ever since I found out the truth about who you really are, nothing has felt the same. I can't look at you the same way anymore. Not because anything has changed between us, but because everything I thought I knew has deepened into something so much more powerful. You are not just the girl I've always been drawn to. You're something greater, something sacred, something written into history itself. When I look at you now, I don't just see a person, I see a destiny. I see someone who carries a story far beyond this lifetime. When you told me what happened in that hidden meeting, when the words "you're the true descendant" came out, I remember just staring at you. I was silent. My heart was racing. My hands felt numb. And for a few seconds, I didn't even breathe. It was like the whole world paused to listen to your truth. And even now, I keep replaying that moment in my mind, like a secret scene from a dream that refuses to fade. Every time I think of it, I get this chill, the kind you get when something inside your soul wakes up. You didn't believe it. At first, I remember the look in your eyes. Confusion, disbelief, fear. You said, "This can be true? Why me?" And I just smiled. Because deep down I always knew there was something different about you. The way you carried yourself, the way your presence filled every quiet space, it was never ordinary. Even before you knew, your soul already carried the weight of a legacy that couldn't be hidden forever. And now that you know, everything feels different between us. Every word we speak feels like it carries centuries of meaning. Every silence between us feels like 1,000 unspoken promises. And I swear to you, I can feel it deep in my chest. The moment you discovered your real identity, something ancient started moving again. It's like your ancestors finally took a breath through you. You told me that the people in that hidden meeting spoke about a bloodline. A line that traces back to something royal, something sacred, something that's been protected in silence for generations. And the strangest part, they knew things about you no one else could have possibly known, details you never told anyone. It's like they'd been watching, waiting, guarding this truth until the right moment arrived, until you were ready. And now that I think about it, maybe all those strange coincidences in your life weren't coincidences at all. The way people would stare at you for a little too long. The way strangers would treat you with unexpected respect. The way you've always felt like you didn't fully belong in the world around you. Maybe all of that was the universe trying to whisper the truth to you before anyone else dared to say it out loud. Do you remember when I told you that you carried an energy that didn't feel like it belonged to this time? That when you walk into a room, it's as if something ancient moves with you. I wasn't exaggerating. I felt it every time you looked at me. I felt like I was looking into a history book that had been alive for centuries. You carry that presence, not loud, not arrogant, but quiet, powerful, and unexplainably magnetic. Since that day, I've caught myself just staring at you. Not because of beauty alone, but because of the realization that you're connected to something greater. Something that doesn't just live in stories or books. Something real. And you're its living proof. You're the piece of a mystery that's been hidden for too long. And now that it's been revealed, the whole world suddenly feels like it's holding its breath, waiting to see what you'll do next. I know you've been overwhelmed. You've told me how scared you are, how heavy it feels to carry this new truth. You said you didn't ask for this, that you just wanted a simple life, free of attention and pressure. But maybe this was never about what you wanted. Maybe it's about what you were meant to become. Some people are born to live quietly, but some, like you, are born to awaken something sleeping in the world. And I swear, even if the whole world turns against you, I'll be right here. I'll stand beside you through it all. Because knowing who you really are doesn't change how I feel. It only makes my feelings stronger. It makes me want to protect you even more. Because now I understand that you're not just someone I love. You're someone who matters in ways that the world hasn't even begun to see. Sometimes, late at night, I find myself imagining what your ancestors might have felt, the ones whose blood runs through your veins. Did they know that someday their legacy would return through someone as soft and kind as you? Did they know their story would continue through your heartbeat, through your eyes, through your voice? I like to think they did. I like to think they chose you even before you were born. There's a certain glow in you now. I see it when you talk. I hear it in your voice. It's like the truth has unlocked something. A power, a grace, a quiet confidence that wasn't there before. And every time I see that light flicker across your face, I can't help but whisper to myself, she finally knows who she is. But even with that light, I can feel your uncertainty. I know you're wondering, what happens next? You're afraid of what this truth might bring, the people it might attract, the attention it might cause, the secrets it might uncover. You're afraid that your normal life might be slipping away. And I get it. I truly do. But what if, just maybe, this is the life you were meant to live all along? What if your story was never meant to be hidden, but revealed at the exact moment it was supposed to? You once asked me, do you see me differently now? And I said no. But that wasn't completely true. Because yes, I do see you differently now. But not in the way you fear. I see you more clearly. I see you as someone divine, someone touched by purpose, someone who carries the weight of something holy and pure. You've become more than just a person I love. You've become a living reminder of fate. Sometimes I think about that meeting, the one where your real identity was revealed, and I wonder what they saw when they looked at you. Did they see the same strength I see? Did they feel the same calm that your presence brings? Or were they as speechless as I was, realizing that they were standing before someone who carries centuries in her soul? I remember you telling me one detail that night, how one of them whispered, "She doesn't even realize the power she holds." That line has haunted me ever since. Because maybe they were right. Maybe you don't fully understand it yet. Maybe you don't realize how much you mean. Not just to me, but to the world that's been waiting for someone like you to appear again. And you know what I think? I think this truth is only the beginning. I think there's more to come. There's more to be revealed, more to be discovered, and more that connects you to a story far bigger than either of us imagined. And every time I look into your eyes, I feel like I'm staring into that story, the one that's about to unfold, piece by piece. So promise me something. Don't run from it. Don't hide from who you are. I know it's terrifying. I know it feels too big, but the world needs to see the woman you're becoming. And I need you to know that no matter what you discover next, no matter what truths unfold, I'll still be right here. I'll be the one standing beside you when everyone else is afraid to believe, because I believe in you. I always have. Even before you knew who you were. My heart already recognized your soul, and now I can't help but wonder, what else have they been keeping from you? What other truths are still waiting to surface? What part of your story hasn't been told yet? I guess we're about to find out, aren't we? Ever since that night, I haven't stopped thinking about what's coming next for you. I keep replaying every word they said in that hidden meeting, the way they looked at you, the tone in their voice, the weight behind those words. She's the true descendant. It's like that moment didn't just change your life, it changed mine too. Because ever since then, I felt like I'm standing beside someone who isn't just meant for love, but for legacy. And it's strange, isn't it? How love and destiny can suddenly become the same thing. You've been quiet lately, I can tell. You've been thinking deeply, trying to process everything. I see the way you look away when people ask how you're doing. I know you're trying to act normal, but your heart feels heavier than before. You're carrying a truth so big, so sacred, that words almost can't hold it. And yet, here you are, still smiling, still gentle, still you. That's what amazes me. Even after finding out who you really are, you haven't changed the way you love. You still speak softly. You still care deeply. You still choose kindness when the world feels cold. You told me that sometimes you wish you didn't know, that you wish things could go back to how they were before. Simple, quiet, safe. But my love, you were never meant for smallness. You were never meant to hide your light. You were meant to step into it, to let the truth make you shine in ways that no one can ignore. The blood in your veins carries stories that the world forgot. And now it's time to remember. There's something I need you to know. When I look at you now, I don't just see the woman I love. I see strength wrapped in softness. I see courage disguised as grace. You might not realize it, but everything about you radiates purpose. Even the way you walk into a room, the way your silence speaks louder than noise. It's as if your soul is whispering to the world, I'm here, and I swear, every time I'm near you, I feel that same whisper echoing in me. I don't know what the next chapter holds for you, for us, for the truth you've uncovered. But I know this, you're not alone. You never were. Maybe fate brought us together, not just to fall in love, but to stand beside each other when everything starts to change. Maybe that's why our connection always felt different, because it was never just about now, it was about everything that came before us. Sometimes late at night, I imagine that your ancestors are watching you. Maybe they smile when you laugh. Maybe they whisper strength into your heart when you're afraid. Maybe they've been waiting for this moment, the moment you finally realize who you are and accept it without fear. And if that's true, then they must be so proud of you, because even when the truth shook your world, you stood tall. You didn't break, you didn't run, you became the proof that their story lives on. So, here we are, standing in the middle of something we can't fully explain. You holding a legacy that's bigger than both of us. Me holding your hand, not knowing where it will lead, but certain I'll never let go. And even though I don't know how this ends, I know one thing for sure. This is only the beginning, because somewhere out there, more people are starting to remember your name. And soon, the whole world will know who you really are.